Welcome to yet another episode of Emptying Your Wallet. I'm your host, Irresponsible. Let's get started. Hello everyone, welcome back to yet another Wolfpack Wednesday. You know how we do things here. Today, Kickstarter is having, recently, Kickstarter is having a full-on freaking field day with some really solid, amazing, interesting games that I really want to talk about because I am definitely backing a lot more than I typically do. I actually haven't backed games for quite some time. Like, it's been 0 for a while now, and then all of a sudden it just goes to like 6. So I want to talk to you about the bunch of games that I have backed, see what you all are thinking, and you know what? I need some convincing to maybe back some and need some convincing to not back some, but I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But first off, I do want to mention that our first Kickstarter is from my friends over at Our Family Plays Games. Mick, Starlet, Grant always have such a wholesome vision for the board game hobby, so definitely check out their campaign, support them if you can. They're doing amazing things, and I've been following along every single day with their campaign, and they've been doing super well, so definitely check them out before the campaign ends. Now, on to the board game projects. I think I have 6. Yep, I have a total of 6 board games I want to talk to you about today. The first one is one that I immediately backed as soon as I saw the cover art and the theme. This one is called Bear Mountain Camping Adventure, A Race to the Top. Now, first off, that title's ridiculous, okay? That's a very, very long title. It's like, what game you want to play tonight? I want to play Bear Mountain Camping Adventure, A Race to the Top. Like, that's really long. They could have just named it Camping Adventure, or just honestly, Bear Mountain would have been very captivating. I feel like they kept it like that, would have been awesome. But aside from the extremely long name, like, just look at the cover art. It looks so captivating. I'm like a really, really big nature-y person anyway. We always go camping. So immediately this theme caught my interest right away. We've been playing summer camp. Also, summer camp, people have been sleeping on that game. That's a little side note. I'll talk about that later. But this game looks freaking incredible. And I love whoever did the photography for this too, with like the nature theme and bringing it out there, putting in some work. Oh my God, like the photos here look spot on and stunning. So whoever did the photos here, you all did an awesome job. Okay, now in terms of the game itself, why I think it looks so fun and why I immediately backed it was because the artwork is amazing across the board, from all the immersive cards all the way to like the box art. Like, it looks so good. One of the biggest selling points for me from this game is when they called it dual deck building. Never heard about that before. It looks really fun. And apparently you start with 2 starting decks and you're gonna build them out as you go. So I'm very interested to see how that continues on. The theming with all the components, that they have little campfires, they have little, like backpack tokens, and I think they're all like wooden tokens too. If you get the upgrades, they look freaking insane. And overall, there's a lot of very, very detailed strategy that you can play around with in this game. So you start off your hiking day with an agenda. You have like canoeing, hiking, bird watching, swimming. Like, come on, that sounds really fun already, right? You have a set agenda for the day that you're starting off with your hand of cards, and then you're managing your camping supplies, having, you can even roast s'mores with all that, with activity tokens, and you're saving different activities. You can upgrade your tent to a camper so it can hold more storage, more activities. You're finding different campsites, and there's just a ton of different actions that you're going through. And I feel like this process for you to kind of build out your day makes it feel very, very thematic to an actual camping trip. And ultimately, when you're camping, like, you're trying to go to one specific destination. And that's exactly how the end game works in this game too. And there's also, I thought it was really funny too, how there's this be bear aware step where if you flip a tile and the bear shows up, then I think you get pushed back on the track. So ultimately, you're trying to reach the top of Bear Mountain with a set of conditions, and it sounds incredibly fun. I haven't seen a game where there's like, I think from what I'm understanding here, I might be wrong, but what I'm seeing here is that there's this linear track and you're kind of following this track, and I haven't seen a game like that like in a very long time. I feel like a lot of the classic games, you have a lot of linear tracks where you're trying to reach one end goal. I can't really think of, maybe like Candyland is not the first one I can think of, but to see it done, modernized with an incredible theme and a ton of modern strategy, modern mechanics, it looks amazing. So Bear Mountain, I went all in on it, and I have no regrets. So that one I'm fully set on. Now, game number 2 is, for me, Mistwind. So this one I've been following for quite some time. I think they debuted the first, like during last Gen Con. So when I first saw them, I got to see it in person. I got to see a little bit of it in person again this past Gen Con too. And I think it looks amazing. Like you have the theme of pick up and deliver with whales. Like that alone sounds freaking incredible. I love the little resource cubes that are actually stationed on the actual whale miniature. That's a huge selling point for me. But the only thing I'm a little wary of is how light it seems. So in terms of actions here, you start off by playing a disc. And this action disc, I think it's almost like a bidding mechanic in a way. It's like a priority system. And then it goes into movement where you can move any of your whales across different spaces. And then you're unloading. This is the pick up and deliver part of the game. And then you claim rewards, and that's kind of it. So it seems a little bit light. That's the part I'm a little worried about. I totally missed the early bird discount here, so I'm in it for the pledge manager. But overall, let me know what you think about Mistwind in the comments below. Is this a back? Is this a pass? What do you all think about this? Because like I said, the pick and deliver sounds really fun. I just feel like I don't know about the replayability. I don't know about how more in-depth this game gets aside from the initial actions, but it looks fun overall. This is probably the most unique theme out of all the games that I'm showing you all today from the list of games that I'm interested in. So that is Mistwind. Moving on to game number 3. This one I'm also a little hesitant about, and I would love to hear your thoughts about this game. So this next one is Ascendancy. And for Ascendancy, it's a 4X game, so it has a lot of crunchy, fun mechanics that I absolutely enjoy. And across games in general, I love progression. I love the idea behind you having a character that starts off like weak in a sense, and then you build out that character with different stats and upgrades. Like games that have that progressive element to it, I'm always all in for, because I just love that idea behind progression. Even in different animes and stuff too, I just like it when the character starts off not like too weak, but the character starts off like medium strength, okay? And then they just go to like Super Saiyan levels eventually. Here's what caught me about this game. First off is the asymmetry. You get to choose your own house. You all know that I love asymmetry. The artwork, I'm not like the biggest fan of, and same with the minis too. The minis look, I don't know the specific term for this, but there's a different type of plastic used in different games for minis. Like there's the Awakened Realms type minis, and then there's like the more smooth looking type, almost like not as detailed type minis, and these are leaning towards like that. Like it's more just like a block of plastic versus more detailed, like denser sculpts. And I love the more denser sculpts. I think these minis aren't really selling for me. Same with the artwork. But again, I do love the whole idea behind choosing your own house. There seems to be a lot of different teams, a lot of different abilities that you can play around with. I love the idea behind choosing different champions. It's worker placement. So you all know that I love worker placement as well. And there's this development system with your own personal estate. It's really cool how your own character board has almost like a broken up map. So like they all are connected in some way. And like I did back this one too, again at the pledge manager tier as well. But the one thing that is holding me back from going higher or not is the combat system here. I'm not fully sold on combat just yet. I have watched a couple playthroughs and I did read through the rulebook. I don't know what it is about combat here. I just don't know. Like I can't fully understand. I've seen it played, but for some reason it's not really clicking for me, and I don't really know what it is about it. But so far what I've seen is that there's this side-by-side combat. You put one card next to another card, and you're trying to balance the amount of stamina that you can use to attack the other like AI, or I don't know if you can attack players, but I've seen just like your champion attacking another AI, and you're using different abilities. Like I think that part's really cool. I think that part looks fun. But then I don't know where the die roll kind of comes in. I don't know how fun this combat can be if you're not able to fight with other players. Like overall, from a preliminary look, I love combat where you want to fight again. I love combat where it matters to lose, and it also is meaningful to win. Right now, there's not like that yelling point where like, yes, like I beat this monster to this combat system just yet. So if you all have some thoughts about combat for Ascendancy, please let me know down in the comments below, because that right there is going to convince me to go higher or lower on backing in for Ascendancy. Okay, now moving on to the next game. Was it game number 1, 2, 3, 4 now? Okay, so this one, full disclaimer, this is not a sponsored video by any of these publishers here, but I did work on the trailer for this one, and that is for Harvest. Now again, it's not a sponsored video, but I did really love playing this game. All my models did too. If you want to know how this game works, go and check out my preview over there. But it was one of the first games that we ever managed to finish on set, which was absolutely satisfying. And it's just a really fun family game. Like this is a game all about farming, and it's very wholesome. There's no take that mechanisms here really, unless you're trying to take the other buildings away from other people. But I love the progression here because you're building out your farm, you're upgrading your buildings in order to gain unique abilities, and there's just a lot of really fun upgrades that Keymaster has done to the original Harvest. I haven't played with original Harvest, but like looking through how the